Hello and welcome to the third episode of Second Take Movies. I'm your host, Preston Jenkinson, and for his last episode, it's Will Huff. Will?
Does it have to be over, Preston?
Yeah, because I gotta go home at some point.
Let's do it.
In this episode, we are finishing up our series of the Star Wars prequels with Star Wars Revenge of the Sith.
Easily the best.
And all of these movies, I actually like this one.
We finally agree.
We finally agree on something. Good. This one opens up with a pretty good...
Are you going to say cool scene?
Yes.
Oh, we agree.
We pick up with... I guess this is the end of the Clone Wars. This is like the final stand of General Grievous.
Yep. It's the Confederacy of Independent Systems, led by General Grievous.
Quick synopsis. Let me pull it up. 3 years into the Clone Wars, the Jedi rescue Palpatine from Count Dooku. As Obi-Wan pursues a new threat, Anakin acts as a double agent between the Jedi Council and Palpatine and is lured into a sinister plan to rule the galaxy.
Can I read the crawl?
Go for it. Go for it.
All right. This is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. War. The Republic is crumbling under attacks by the ruthless Sith Lord, Count Dooku. There are heroes on both sides. Evil is everywhere. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader, General Grievous, has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate. As the Separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, 2 Jedi Knights laid a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor.
And so
this is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun. That's the first line of this movie. Even that's a little cringy. Jeez, Anakin. We go through space battle. We're zooming past ships. We're flying. There's these little. This probably goes on a little bit too long, but creatures getting on the ship. They shoot a rocket that is the dumb. Now that I think about it, is a kind of a dumb rocket. It just explodes and throws these little. I mean, if you're gonna shoot somebody. But it's just these little 3-legged little spider-looking things. Buzz droids they're called because Obi-Wan says hit. R2, hit the buzz droid, center eye.
Oh, it's so cool.
And if you haven't, this is probably, you've listened to the first 2 episodes, hopefully, and you just clicked onto this one. I like to do impressions. It's a thing.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, though. It's so good. You're so good at those. So they land in it's kind of a crash landing.
Yeah.
And, but they're on a mission.
Yeah.
Two behind enemy lines,
yeah.
2 knights.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find Supreme Chancellor Sheev Palpatine. And he, of course, this is all a plot.
Yeah.
He did not, this is a all planned. Remind me, why did he plan this? Was it just
it was to get Anakin to kill Count Dooku, obviously.
That must be it. Yep, that's it.
It was to tempt Anakin to continue his journey towards the dark side, which has been subtly denoted by his clothing throughout these 3 movies. It's just like Luke in the original trilogy. His wardrobe has gotten darker.
Yeah, exactly.
So
his descent.
We have problems in the elevator, and we get to see the first time with Anakin and Obi-Wan where they actually seem like they work well together.
The banter is good.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because of the change in roles. They're 2 knights. Now.
They're kind of on equal footing at this point.
I don't think does he still call him master? Like
he probably does. I think I would assume when you grow up and you call this dude master your whole life, even when you become a master yourself, you still call him master.
Yes,
because he's the one that taught you.
Yeah,
and his rank is master.
I think that the change in their relationship, it's just a better place for them both. They're on equal footing. They're both Jedi Knights. They're brothers side by side.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fight well. The banter is good.
Yeah.
It's funny.
We have a typical stuck somewhere in Star Wars, and we get on the phone to the old droid who's plugged into the thing upstairs.
Yep.
R2, we need to get the elevator moving.
Yes. It's a long, long time ago.
Because, like, they have this quick little exchange. It's like, well, what now? I say patience. And we get more and more of Obi-Wan's distrust of droids.
Yes.
Seems like. Because he doesn't want to wait on R2. But they eventually get the elevator moving, and we get to the throne room where Sheev is quote-unquote kidnapped.
Yep.
And Count Dooku is there.
Yes.
And watching an 86-year-old man do a front flip off a balcony is...
it looked not real.
It's not.
It
was terrible.
Yeah.
So a fight ensues, and Anakin shows his cockiness again when he talks about his powers have grown considerably since we last met Count.
Yeah. And there's that power.
Yeah.
Motif again.
Yeah. So good eventually triumphs over evil. I think he cuts off both of Dooku's hands because Obi-Wan gets knocked out again.
It's right. Both are cut off.
Yeah.
He's completely helpless.
Catches the other one.
He's got both lightsabers in his hand.
Good, Anakin. Good. Do it.
Kill it.
He's obviously the Emperor at this point. It's like...
It's not even subtle.
I mean, he just jumps into the voice and no one calls him on it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. So he cuts his head off, and he does show regret. He's like, it's not the Jedi way, which comes up later.
Yeah.
We escape the ship.
Yes.
We're running horizontally on an elevator shaft because at this point the ship is
this is like a weird gravity thing where the gravity thing is broken.
Yeah, there's a bunch of silliness that goes on.
Not sure how that works. I'm sure they'd be in anti-gravity at that point.
Oh, and he's got Obi-Wan on his back this whole time, which he obviously can save him and he's just pick him up and carry him. But Sheev is like, no, go ahead, leave him, let him die. So he obviously
that was his chance. I mean,
he obviously has ulterior motives.
Yeah, he wanted Obi-Wan to die in this interaction
because then he can be the only one that's
controlling and influencing him. So the ship, I mean, there's the interaction with Grievous, which is cool. I like Grievous is so cool.
General Kenobi.
I mean, we could just skip to the ship crashes.
Ship crashes. Obi-Wan says, another happy landing.
Yes, and we see the good piloting of Anakin once
again. Okay, we get it. He's good. It's like, you've established this, George. We know.
He's the best pilot of the galaxy.
And then it cuts. It goes to, I guess we're back on Coruscant. We successfully saved the Chancellor. We're on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And he thanks the Jedi and says, yay, General Grievous is dead. Is the war over at this point?
So, the Separatists, I think the Confederation is kind of defeated, I think.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a synopsis here. I mean, that's how I remember it. Now, I know... I'm trying to work this out. What happens here? Oh, Grievous is still at large.
Grievous is at large.
And to them, Grievous being out there is still... And even, members of the Separatist Council are still in hiding, so...
Yeah.
It's not completely defeated, but they're definitely... To them, it feels like they're winning this battle. Of course, this is all Sidious's plan.
Oh, yeah.
To, increase the clone army.
He set all this...
Spread it out throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I think now would be as good a time as ever to make one of my big points.
All right, go for it.
I would argue...
Okay.
The dark side, throughout the prequels, is more terrifying than it is in sequels.
Only because they explore it more.
They explore it more.
We spend more time with it, I think. Because we only really get the Emperor in Return of the Jedi.
The subtlety of the dark side is that it's infiltrated the most holy of holies in this galaxy. The place where only good is supposed to be. The ideals. The things that people are striving for. And the manipulation, the careful subtleties of the dark side here. Sidious is, he lives this lie out and uses people against their will.
Like, offers up his latest...
Doesn't care.
...apprentice on a planet. And even Count Dooku's looking at him like, for real?
You might even argue right there is the reason why attachment is important. Without that attachment, everyone is just...
Because it's basically a Sith tradition that the apprentice kills the master.
Yep. Without love, sometimes indifference is even, it's worse. Point being, I'm just trying to say, it's a terrifying warning, I think, to us even, because I think in the sequels, the original trilogy, I mean, we get kind of the dark evil force that we all know. We all know what happened in World War II. We've seen Nazi Germany at large.
Yeah.
But the warning of the prequels is the unseen enemy, the one that's in our midst, the one that we look up to, the person that even friends that don't realize they're serving an evil cause. And, I mean, skipping to the end of the movie, you see Palpatine elected as the Emperor, and he's elected to rounding applause, and it is done in the name of peace.
Yeah.
And unity.
We're organizing the first empire.
Yes.
For peace.
For peace and unity. And I just think the subtlety, and this is maybe where we have to be careful even today, and maybe this is on a small scale within, our little communities, maybe this is on a large national scale. I have no idea, but just to pay attention to the subtleties. And but that's why I think it's more terrifying, because it's harder to see.
Yeah.
The enemy that is hard to see is the most dangerous.
Yeah, because Anakin's basically blinded by his somewhat selfish fear of Padme dying.
Yes.
Which we find out later on in a scene that Padme is pregnant.
With twins.
Dun dun dun. Because they got married. They got married at the end of the last movie.
They got married in secret.
Yeah. So, and he kind of is like, when he's told that she's pregnant, when she tells him, reaction's a little weird there.
He doesn't know how he feels about it.
Yeah.
Maybe
he eventually comes around that he's happy.
But at first, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, the secret's going to come out.
Yeah, that's probably the first thing that he thought was like, oh, well, I'm not a Jedi anymore.
Yeah. And he loves being a Jedi.
And that's probably that first seed of fear. That takes over.
Oh, that's a great point. I hadn't even thought of that.
That's that first hit of, because that night he has which Palpatine probably was messing with his head.
Yeah.
And put those images in his mind.
Yes.
So that's probably like he gives himself that first hit of fear, and it's like, oh gosh, and then it just gets dialed up to 11 with that dream of her dying in childbirth.
Yeah. And it's just not helpful that the Jedi Order has told him suppress fear, like push it down, don't let it happen.
Yeah.
Because when it happens and he can't push it down, he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And it turns into rage, turns into anger, turns into trying to control anxiety. One of the narcotics for anxiety is control.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's trying to control our surroundings so that we don't have to experience the whatever it is that makes us anxious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so after
this movie's deep.
Took 3 movies for George Lucas to actually be like, I can actually do something with this. We find out that she's pregnant. I think it cuts to that scene where they're in bed together, and he wakes up with that dream, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this happened before. He had a dream of his mother dying.
Correct. So he's obviously like, okay, this is happening too. Yeah, because it's already been kind of proven that his dreams come true. Like his nightmares, at least, with his mom. So he's like doubly convinced, like, Padme is dying. I have to do whatever I can to save her.
Additionally, there's this drama with the High Council, and with what's his name? Darth Sidious. Palpatine. Where, the council won't elect him to master.
Yeah, because he after all this, Anakin is in a meeting with Palpatine, and he talks about, I'm not sure how the Jedi are, so you know what, Anakin, you've been such a good, I guess, protege, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to appoint you to be my representative on the Jedi Council, which if I'm the Jedi, I'm like, who are you to appoint?
Yes.
I don't blame the Jedi for what they do. Like,
no.
As messed up as this
conflict of interest.
As messed up as this system is that we have, he has a senator. The Jedi are supposed to be the peacekeepers. They're like this.
They're removed from...
Yeah, this own entity to itself. They don't answer to the Republic. They don't answer to...
Well, and here is the separation of church and state being broken down.
Right.
And the dangers of that.
Yeah. And they don't grant him the rank of master. And we see some more of that jealousy popping up.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. Exactly. Which...
How can you be on the council and not be a master? And Obi-Wan's like, dude, you need to chill. To be like, it's unheard of. Like, somebody at your age has never been on the council, dude. Like, even though this is like, you did it in a kind of a backdoor way. And he's like, yeah, I know you didn't ask to be on the council, but it's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. You wanted to be on the council.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be master.
Yeah.
You got on there in some it's like a real sketchy way.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be on here.
And the only reason we allowed it is because we want you to spy on your buddy Palpatine.
Yeah.
We don't trust him.
So he's a double spy.
So apparently some of that fog has been lifted of the force is clouded with the dark side.
Maybe it's the wrong reason, though, because
Probably,
it's like they want to spy on him because
he's coming after
he
him.
Controls them.
It looks like he's coming after him.
Yeah. He's just put in a position here, tied. He's always choosing between two. Seemingly... He sees both sides.
Yeah.
There's people he loves, or at least ideals that he loves or strives for on both sides.
And so after that, we find out those good old friends of ours, the Separatists. Are they Separatists? Or hanging out there in the Outer Rim?
Yes. I think they're separatists or the Confederation. Because
again, we split up Obi-Wan and Anakin, which again helps and that was probably Palpatine again that said, y'all all organize out here because I want them to send somebody to come get you. So Anakin and Obi-Wan are split up again. Second movie in a row. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, that's how it went. Yeah.
They get split up. Dude, we gotta talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Darth Plagueis the Wise. Oh yeah, because after this is when he meets Palpatine at the opera.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And this is more like lore stuff and...
Well, talk about books again. There's a really good book. It's basically the Rise of Palpatine. It's the Palpatine story.
His story.
I think the book is called Darth Plagueis, but it's the crux of the book is the relationship between, because we find out that Palpatine was the apprentice that killed Darth Plagueis in his sleep. Whether he learned how to cheat death or not, we don't know, because that was Darth Plagueis' thing. So it's just that more of that whispering in the ear and the temptation, and he can keep the ones he cared about from dying.
Oh, so sick.
First of all, who does the Sith care about but themselves?
Follow their advice.
Right.
Especially because in the story, he kind of leaves it out, but Darth Sidious, kills him in his sleep. It's only implied, but...
It's like, okay, well, you were obviously the apprentice that killed him, since you know so much about Darth Plagueis.
And he pretty much tells Anakin, you can't learn this from a Jedi,
Yeah. It's like, you didn't know he was evil then? He knows this story about this Sith Lord, this ancient Sith Lord?
Yeah, how have you not realized at this point?
Yeah, so I think we cut back to Obi-Wan. George Lucas
with Grievous, right?
Yeah. General Kenobi. Hello there.
Oh,
and we have a spinning lightsaber fight with greens and blues running all over the place.
So cool.
I go back and forth on General Grievous. I don't know how I feel about him. He seems silly to me.
Well,
what's his deal? Human? Robot?
He's a cyborg.
Okay.
And
I know he's coughing a lot, so I assume he's got a bad lung or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he's so cool. Jedi killer. Maybe that's how Lucas is going out with this thing too. It's like, I don't know what kind of purpose he really plays into the whole overall plot. It's so cool, but is it wasted time?
This was obviously, a lot of this was George Lucas setting up the Clone Wars series. It's just like, let me introduce these characters at the very end of the war for this show I'm putting on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, he kind of is there just to be cool. And I do think the wheel bike and Boga, I don't like
Yeah, so chase ensues. We pry open Grievous's chest. Bang, bang. right in the chest. So uncivilized. Tosses it away. He meets up with the clone. There's a clone troop out there. Commander Cody.
Commander Cody, who happens to be the one that finds the lightsaber. A little unbelievable. I guess here's how it serves the plot. Obi-Wan and Anakin need to be separated.
Mm-hmm.
General Grievous is a distraction.
Yeah.
That Sidious intentionally had put in place to draw Obi-Wan away.
Okay, yeah.
So that Obi-Wan and Anakin would be separated because he knew if they were together, he couldn't get to Anakin.
Gotcha. All of a sudden...
Oh my gosh, yeah, we cut to...
As soon as Obi-Wan meets up with his troops and says, I don't know what they were doing out there, but says go here and look for that. Obi-Wan goes crawling up this mountain on this bird lizard, and Commander Cody's getting a call. Oh, what is it? Hologram. Emperor pops up.
Execute Order 66.
It will be done, my lord. But we'll backtrack. By this time, Anakin has had a few more meetings with the Chancellor, and he has discovered, you're the Sith Lord. Duh. And he puts a lightsaber to his neck, and he says, basically just telling on himself, saying, yeah, I've been putting the dreams in your head without saying it. Like, I can keep Padme from dying, basically.
The irony.
Yeah.
Because he goes down this path.
Yeah.
That Padme
does something that it does happen. Granted, does happen, but I would say he contributed to it. That's for the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the movie, I don't know. I don't know how to understand this, but she dies of grief is kind of what the droid says.
Yeah, but I would imagine getting choked out for a couple seconds doesn't help. Cuts off some oxygen to the brain.
Not at all. Yeah.
So probably the stress built up, and after waking up after getting choked to where you pass out and then giving birth is probably not a fun time.
No.
But before we get to all that, he runs and tells Mace Windu, and he says, Anakin, good job. You've done what you're supposed to do. All you gotta do is stay here, because if this is true, you've earned my trust. So just stay, and we will go deal with it. And credit to Hayden Christensen. He plays it pretty well. We can see he's sitting in the empty Jedi chamber and temple chamber, and he's struggling. He's weighing his options.
Control, lack of power.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust Windu.
Yeah.
They haven't had a great
he doesn't. He himself doesn't trust Windu, and Windu doesn't trust him.
And it's like, how can he leave such an important thing up to Windu?
Yeah.
Because at this point, he thinks that he would kill.
Yeah. So Samuel L. Jackson, Mace Windu, takes a bunch of Jedi up to Palpatine's office. Palpatine, it's treason. Pulls out a lightsaber, cuts through a bunch of them.
Easy cake.
Yeah, and then it's down to just...
He's slicing cake.
Mace, Windu, and the Emperor. And we fight, and it ends up, they break the glass. Yeah. And he's got the Emperor on the ropes. Future Emperor.
Really. He just knows that Anakin's coming in. He let it happen.
He's probably sensing it. Like he's probably been in Anakin's, like he just lives in Anakin's mind at this point, and he can sense that Anakin's coming. So he probably gave up that fight on purpose.
Oh, I definitely think so. I think that because you notice he does it right when Anakin's walking in.
Yeah.
And he waits until that moment to let himself.
Yeah. And we kind of, the foreshadowing at the beginning of the movie, it's not the Jedi way. And Mace is like, I wouldn't kill a lot of people, but if I had to pick one, this is one.
Yeah.
He's too powerful. Yes. He's the Chancellor. We know he's evil. We got to kill him.
Yeah.
Got to do it. And Anakin's like, nope. It's not the Jedi way. Code. Not. And we get the real motive why he does it. I need him. Off goes another hand.
Yep.
Mace Windu gets unlimited power. Electricity out the window. He falls to the streets of Coruscant. Are there streets?
We assume he falls to his death.
We see no body. We just see him fly out a window.
Yeah.
I've seen Jedi jump
survive worse.
Yeah. So by this point, Anakin's just like, you know what? I'm all in on this dark side thing, and he just kneels before Hayden Christensen's acting again. The look on his face is just a look of,
it's incredible.
I give up.
I surrender myself.
I just surrender to this because I can't go back. I've jumped in head first, and that's what the Emperor wanted.
He feels like he's made his decision.
Yeah.
And so he so sadly, he gives himself to it. And, it's tragic.
Yeah.
What do you think about the eye color change?
I thought that was dumb. Like, that's the reason he's all scarred up. Like, y'all couldn't think of anything else? Like his own lightning getting refracted back onto him?
Yeah.
That's bad makeup.
Well, even Anakin's eye colors change. Did you notice that?
Well, that's a Sith thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's established. And the reason, I think this was established when like Disney took over like the extended stuff, but there was a Knights of Ren comic about how Ben Solo became Kylo Ren. We find out that Sith users, the reason they have red lightsabers is they bleed their lightsaber crystals.
Oh my god.
And they put all of their rage into that lightsaber crystal, and that's what turns it red.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, so... But that is a thing when you turn to the dark side. That's all of the rage built up inside you that you get those yellowish eyes.
Wow.
Yeah. So Darth Vader, as he is known now, Darth Vader.
Master. I will devote myself to your teachings.
Yeah.
Believable? I think so.
Sure.
I think it was played well, and I think it makes sense.
Like I said, he's completely given up. He's done.
Yeah,
I can't go back.
He's done being stuck between two hard decisions.
He's like, I'm done being on the fence.
All he knows right now is, I want to control. I want to be able to act. I want the power to act.
And it seems like this dude can give me what I want. Selfishly, he's trying to keep his wife alive when she hasn't even died yet, or even come close to death.
It's only the possibility.
Yeah.
And it's that fear.
Yeah.
It's fear. It's anxiety. It's fear.
And after that, he gets sent to Mustafar. But at first, he takes a trip over to Padme. Has he attacked? He attacks the temple first, right?
He kills the temple people first.
Yeah, with the very questionable shot of walking into the council chambers where all the little ones are. And just, I mean, you don't see him kill the kids, but...
I think he does. And I think...
He absolutely does. But just that shot of him igniting, like, you didn't need that.
It was too hard.
We don't need to... I mean, you can just imply it, dude. We don't actually need to see him confront the children.
But, he has to end the Jedi Council. And that's the only way to do it.
And so after he's gone through and wrecked the Jedi Temple, he stops over at Padme's apartment, where she has basically just an open apartment with no balcony or window.
Yeah.
And says, hey, everything's okay.
She's like, I don't know you anymore.
She's like, just the well, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh, we haven't gotten to that.
But just, the Jedi just turned on everybody. No big deal.
Yeah. And he's like...
And I've been sent on a mission to finally end this war. Palps has sent him to Mustafar, the Mustafar system, to take out the rest of our good old friends again, the separatists of the Trade Federation.
Just like his apprentices.
Yeah.
It's like the moment that he doesn't need them anymore.
Yeah.
Boom, they're gone.
I mean...
They're just pawns.
Yeah.
And it's so well done, because you just see everything that the prequels have been building up to.
Yeah.
All culminate in this moment.
Yeah. And that's when we get Execute Order 66. So, cut back to Obi-Wan and Commander Cody from before. We get the Order 66, blast him. Obi-Wan falls in the water, of course. Rest of the Jedi get wrecked. Gone. Done.
Yeah.
Cut up. Dead.
Yeah.
Shot out the sky. Except for our good friend Master Yoda, who apparently knew Chewbacca.
That was a bit...
Like, George, you don't need to... We know what Wookiees are at this point. You don't need to put Chewbacca in there. And because then that brings up questions later on when I'm sitting there watching, like
why is he with Han?
But I guess him and Yoda never really... I mean, Yoda stays on Dagobah through that whole trilogy. So.
Yeah. But it is weird that... Chewbacca seems to be like
it's pointless.
A kind of a... ragabound kind of...
But we do find out that in Solo, a Star Wars story, at that point, Chewbacca is like 105 years old. So apparently Wookiees live for a while.
Yeah, seriously.
So it's plausible that he was there. George, we know what Wookiees are. It doesn't have to be Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's right. That's basically my point. Just another thing kind of thrown in there. But it is good to see an old friend.
Yeah. And Yoda does not think twice about beheading some clone troopers.
Oh my god.
Like he
just does it.
He's felt everybody die.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this earlier at some point, but
oh yeah, we didn't do it on the recording though. Here
we
go. So this is just an interesting little thing. One of the key moments between Yoda and Anakin, he comes to Yoda and he tells him about his dreams. Yeah. And Yoda tells Anakin, he says, quote, "Rejoice for those around us who transform into the Force. Mourn them, do not. Miss them, do not. Attachment leads to jealousy, the shadow of greed," that is. So, essentially here again, the call to not be attached to anyone or anything, to totally divorce yourself from emotion. I guess rejoicing, so joy.
I mean, you're kind of, treat death as a celebration because someone has become a part of the Force.
Yes.
Kind of.
Exactly.
So does that mean Sith become a part of the Force too? Did they get ghosts?
It's this kind of, new age thing here.
Yeah.
The irony is that we kind of noticed was that as Order 66 is executed, Yoda is definitely mourning for the Jedi who are lost. Or maybe, I don't know, a disturbance in the Force.
I would argue, as powerful as he is, like I would assume that many Jedi getting taken out in that exact moment, that would cause some sort of ripple or wave within the Force itself that overwhelmed Yoda. So maybe for a split second, he slipped a little bit. He felt something.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be the Jedi of the Jedi.
Exactly. I mean, he's old. He's been through it all.
He's like 900 something. Yeah.
He's a Force, focused Jedi. Wow. And so here we get to really the climax of the prequels. To me, the prequels really are Act 1. Then you've got, I would put Act 2 is New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And Act 3 would be The Return of the Jedi. And so this Act 1 is going to, of course, climax with a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And we're seeing all of this pent up rage, emotion, maybe love as well, that is finally expressed in this head-to-head between Anakin and Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan flies with Padme, right? Mm-hmm. Or he stows away?
He stows away, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Because he knew that she would go to where he was.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't tell him. So she goes and she tries to talk to Anakin, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And this is when she says the line, "I don't know you anymore. You're not my Annie.
You're breaking my heart."
You're breaking my heart.
Because he's laid out his plan of, we're going to rule the galaxy, don't you know? It'll be ours.
Well.
So that Sith selfishness and rage and just pure, whatever you want to call it, just pure selfishness.
Yeah.
The Sith think only of the immediate, and right now he's like, I can kill the Emperor and I can rule the galaxy, because now we're an empire at this point.
Yeah.
Because Yoda, and we'll just jump back one more time real quick. Yes. Yoda confronts the Emperor. They have a fight in the throne room or the Senate chamber. Basically, just a bunch of taunting back and forth of, he's Darth Vader now. What are you gonna do? Blah, blah. He's powerful than either of us.
That might be one complaint I have is.
That doesn't... Sure, you need to set up why Yoda is on Dagobah when we find him in Empire. Yeah. That whole thing is... I don't like it. That's the one part of the movie I don't like.
At the very least, that it's cut between Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle and Yoda and Sidious. It should have just been Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that's the main focus of this. That's the crux of what we've been leading up to.
It takes us out of the action of what is argued the best lightsaber battle in any... other movies.
It goes on for 30 minutes, but...
Yeah. It's between that one and The Empire Strikes Back, Luke and Darth Vader. But it's incredible.
Absolute. Sith dealing absolutes. That's what it was.
Yeah, which, again, is another irony, because it's like the Jedi kind of, with this Jedi code, it's just you kind of see on both sides the brokenness, the Jedi and the Sith. And I think that's what Anakin's torn between. But another thing that's interesting... And this is why her heart is broken and why the relationship is broken, is when you try to control in a relationship, you're no longer serving the person. You're making them into someone that they're not. You are imposing your own selfishness onto that person. And I think that's where he's not loving Padme anymore. The moment that he starts to try to save her life, ironically.
Yeah.
The moment that he tries to start to control her safety, he's stopped loving her.
That was really deep for a
sorry
for
I keep doing
episode of a podcast that's about Star Wars.
I know. I keep doing it. That's why I like these prequels. I think there's a lot of depth to them. Not as deep as the original trilogy. I would say there's even deeper themes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's why this plays well.
All right, so we have a huge lightsaber fight through all the lava, and the Obi-Wan gets the high ground.
Oh my god!
It ends with where we end up on a floating lava river. Yeah. They're on these two individual things, and they're just whacking sticks at each other. And in real life, it's probably like they're probably standing on two platforms and swinging sticks at each other. But
the high ground scene is really important. Have you caught this?
No.
This is so cool. I don't know if this is the thing. It's something I've noticed. I didn't read about this. He's on the high ground.
Yeah.
He says to Anakin, "I've got the high ground. Don't try, Anakin." In the Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan is in that well. Darth Maul is up. He's got the high ground. Literally, the way that it's filmed, everything is supposed to mirror that scene because freaking Obi-Wan was also willing to make that jump. To try to win the victory.
Wow, that's awesome.
Okay.
I might poke a...
No, please do. This is my own theory.
So are you saying when he says, don't try it...
I've got the high ground, Anakin. Don't try it.
Anakin wasn't there when he did that move with Darth Maul.
No, but I'm saying it's a parallel because it shows that...
Oh, he can tell what he's about to do. He knows Anakin so well that he knows he's about to...
Maybe not even that. Maybe just in as far as characters, like it shows that they are so similar. Because you might argue Obi-Wan or Darth Maul could have said the same thing to Obi-Wan. Don't try it, Obi-Wan. I've got the high ground. Darth Maul would
want him to try it.
And maybe there's even the mercy in that statement to Anakin. But Obi-Wan is willing to take that same risk in that moment. So I just see that as a parallel, just another statement of these are brothers. They think alike in a lot of the ways that you see that through the whole fight. Mm-hmm. And this is just another statement of that. You see that in the way that they try the same moves and, are the most equal match that we've seen. Yeah. I think that's important too.
Is the burn too much? When Anakin gets burned by the lava? Too much?
I don't think it's too much in the sense that, the romantic stuff we saw in the second one. I think that it's important. It makes the scene so much more tragic. Visually, it's haunting. Yeah. It evokes kind of images maybe of hell, really. Whatever someone thinks about that, at least in popular kind of visions of the mythos of hell or what have you, it reminds us of that. Someone who is tortured inside, it's visualized by that fire maybe. And the difference in the statements they make to one another, you have Anakin saying, "I hate you," and
he's just like pure rage at this point.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's totally embraced it. Yeah. Obi-Wan, he shows his attachment to Anakin, and he says, "I loved you." Mm-hmm. And it's past tense.
I don't think that rule about attachment is a real hard and fast.
They don't really follow it, do they?
No, nobody does.
Nobody does.
It's just one of those. It's a rule, but it's like
I think that's the point.
You can't keep people from getting attached to stuff.
No,
or beings.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah. So he gets put in the suit, and the worst moment of this entire movie. The lead up is great. Like that slow.
Yeah.
The music's playing, the mask comes on, the iconic breathing starts, slow rise up to fully reveal Darth Vader. Where is Padme? In your anger, you killed her.
What?
Before the fight, he had force choked Padme a little bit. He's like, "No, she was alive. I felt it." And then kind of like Frankenstein's monster, that kind of weird walk, and then... No!
Darth Vader.
You could have just ended that whole thing with him destroying everything in that lab with the Force. That would have been enough. We get it. Padme gives birth to two little childrens, Luke and Leia. The stars of the next show. And then Obi-Wan takes to basically a random dude to a little farmhouse out in the desert on Tatooine. That's right. And then the trilogy ends where the first one began, with a look of hope off into the middle distance with Tatooine's two suns in the background, and that's where we end. Wow, we did it. It is, man, A New Hope, awesome. As it were. All 3 prequels. Yeah. I feel like I learned a lot. Yeah. And for context, for anyone listening, we did this all in one night. It is probably 4 a.m. somewhere in the world. Yeah. Right here it's 11, but... So that if this last one got a little deep and existential... It's 11 o'clock at night. All the brain power is gone. Yeah. So, but you know what? I had fun, and this is a lot of fun. Yeah. And I hope for our listeners too that this kind of just maybe gave people to give these movies a second chance. That's what we're about. That is what we're about. We took a second look, and sometimes we do that, and we come back and we're like, "Or I think this is your hope with the podcast." It's like, yeah, no, we gave it a second chance, but there was nothing redeemable. Right. Yeah. All right, well, final thoughts. What do we think? Still like it? I want to give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I'm going to go 7 1/4. 7 1/4. 7 1/4. That's fair. Fair. Wow. All right. That is the end of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Wow. And the end of the 3rd episode of Second Take Movies. You can follow us at Second Take Movies on Instagram and Twitter. Please leave a review if you find us. What'd you think? Let us know. Leave a star, whatever. I don't know. Whatever podcast service you're listening to this on. Yeah. Leave a comment. It seriously helps. And, I know that Preston really wants to get this thing out there. And, yeah. If you could just take 2 seconds, like and comment, that'll really help. Thank you so much. So I will see you next time with a different guest. We'll probably see. I have a good feeling we're going to see Will again. Yeah, this will be fun. So I will see and talk to everyone on the next episode of Second Take Movies, whenever that is.